What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm coming at you today with live coverage on Gamestop and AMC. We've had an interesting morning today, and it's been kind of slow today, but slow is actually pretty good in this instance. We are creeping up very slowly. We're at 278 on GameStop. The high of today was 282. And we're currently sitting at 58.83 on AMC, and the high was 59.67. So we are just hanging around these levels right now. Some coverage that we went through over the weekend was that, well, let me just first make sure I'm live, because I have a tendency of not turning my mic on. Okay, we are good. So over the weekend, Melissa Lee from CSNBC made a big old mistake and accidentally said the words naked shorts. She said specifically, naked shorts, yeah, on CSNBC. So that, of course, sparked a bunch of people like, holy moly, they actually said it. What is going on here? So if people didn't believe it before, they definitely believe it now. Well, at least I hope they do, because it's definitely true. So we are just kind of looking at these two stocks right now and trying to determine, where are we going to go. It's known that they are being pressured. The fact that both of these stocks are going up at the same time has to pressure them somehow. If there was even more stocks going up, that they're short in, that would be really interesting. It looks like we're about to hit new highs on AMC right now, live here in the next few moments. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this chart right here. The high is 59.67, and we're at 59.22 right now. So let's see where we're going to go with this. Let's see where this is going to be headed right now for us. So also another thing that I wanted to touch on today was, I received an email from a viewer, Paul, and he was concerned, with everybody and their account. I don't know if you guys seen it, but over the weekend, the mainstream media put out a few articles, saying that Americans are now facing risk of hackers taking over brokerage accounts. My thoughts on that are that hackers probably are not taking over brokerage accounts. My thoughts specifically are that if something does happen to our brokerage accounts, it is not from a hacker. I think that that's just a preemptive way to blame hackers. I think that if something did happen to our account, it would definitely be by the hedge funds, who would benefit most from our accounts disappearing or from relaying incorrect information. So if that were to happen, I believe that those articles are just as a way, like a preemptive way to be like, oh, well, we told you guys, that hackers were going to be coming into your account and taking over. And, I really just have a hard time believing that if that were to happen, that hackers would be the ones behind it. Now, what I would recommend for that, just in case something does happen, is to, 1, turn on two-factor authentication for all of your accounts. 2, call your brokerages to make sure that your account is protected and what you can do to protect your account. And 3, screenshot your account so you know your exact positions, how many shares you had at what time. Just make sure you take screenshots of all those records, and you hold those records for yourself just in case something did happen. You definitely want to be prepared for that. So that's what I wanted to say about that. We're sitting at 59.08ish, 59.15 on AMC, and we're at 277.77. 7777 on on GameStop right now. Both of these stocks are doing pretty well today. So I'm definitely not mad about that. So we're just gonna see kind of where these take us. We're about to hit new highs right now on AMC. AMC is struggling to get over $60 right now. So that's an interesting sign. I do need to take this phone call real quick, so give me one moment, guys. Sorry, guys, I had to deal with my alarm company. There's some bullshit going on with that, too. So yeah, this is kind of where we're sitting at today, with all of this information. Yeah. So, like I said on Friday, I warned you guys that they were going to try to push the price below 50 on AMC and below 250 on GameStop, and that was because of the options chain. They wanted to make sure that those options did not end in the money. So a big problem with betting on way out of the money and having a bunch of people betting way out of the money is that the hedgies are going to try to force the stock below those levels, because it would be detrimental and dangerous for them not to. So we're going to go ahead and look at this option chain real quick for GameStop, and then we'll go ahead and look at it for AMC as well. Let me make sure that I know what this week ends at. Okay, so this week is June 11th. So let's go ahead and look at these calls. So for June 11th, we want June 11th, and we want all strikes. Let's do all strikes for June 11th. Let this load for a sec. Okay. Oops. Alright, yeah, we gotta let this load. It's not loaded. There we go. Okay. So, June 11th. So this week, we have a shit ton of calls expiring for the 300 strike. We have 2,384 open interest for that 300 strike. Let's go find 250. See if we have a lot for 250. All right, 250, we only have 905. It's very possible that they will finally let us above 250, but I don't think that they will let us close the week above 300. This week they are going to try to shove it below 300 because of these calls right here that would expire in the money if the stock were to reach 300. They are definitely not going to let us reach 350 either. So 300 and 350 are our next psychological barriers for GameStop, due to the open interest on the call on the option change. I'm sorry, I can't speak. I don't know what's happening. And then let's just go a little further just to see. So we have a bunch on the 400 strike as well, and I guarantee we probably have some on the 500. Yep. And a bunch on the 500 strike. And I'm sure we have a lot on 800 as well. But for some reason, it's not pulling them up. So the 580 strike, we also have 2,367. So we have a lot of strikes moving forward for GameStop. Now, another thing that we'll want to look is the open interest on puts. There's a lot of open interest for a $50 put on GameStop. Good luck with that, people. Sucks to be whoever's holding those. Let's see. Anything else worth mentioning? All right, so we got 1,207 on the 190 strike for a put, and then we have 200. 1,735. That's a lot. That's a big wall there at 200. It's not going to get there either, so sucks to be you. All right, so let's see. All right, and that's pretty much it. So the 200 wall put is what we really need to look at for that week. All right, now let's look at AMC. Let AMC's populate here for a minute. And let's make sure we're monitoring this action while it loads too. GameStop's at 277.94 right now. AMC's at 58.35. Alright, so AMC. Alright, so it's at 50 something. Alright, here we go. Alright. So over here we have a pretty big, not huge, but 10,000 open interest on this $10 put for AMC. Let's look. We want to look at probably like 50. Okay, there's a big ass one. Okay, 19,146 for $30 AMC. This is the one that we're going to need to worry about. And there's 19,000 volume as well. This is where they're going to try to push us to, is $30 to make those go in the money. Alright, so let's see. Then we got some. Alright, so here we go. $50. This week they're going to try to keep us below $50. If we're above $50, all of these calls will expire in the money, and that's 25,217 calls. Now let's do the math on that and see how many shares that would be that needs to be hedged for, if they are not already. 217 times 100. That would be 2,521,700 shares that would need to be hedged on for the $50 strike. So they will try to push this below $50 by Friday. We're going to see. The next one is 55. There's 10,000. That's not a whole lot, but it's still a significant amount. The next psychological bear we have here is $60. If we ended up in the money on these $50 and those $60, that would be a lot of shares. Let's see. So we said 2,521,700. Let's remember that, because I'm going to do this next math. All right, then we got 24,346 times 100. That brings us to 2,434,600. Now, if we add those both together, hold on, because now I got to pull up the other number. 2,521,000. Okay, so plus 2,521,700 That would be 4,956,300 shares that would need to be bought in order to be hedged for and to pay out to the people who are owning these contracts if they were to exercise. That is a lot. 4 million shares, 4.9 million is a lot. I guess in the grand scheme of things, based on the float for AMC, it's really not a lot, but I mean, that's 4.9 million shares that would have to be bought at current market price of $58.71. So when you look at it that way, that is a lot. When you move up here on the $70 strike, there's about 19,000 of open interest. And as you move down, I'm sure on the 125, whatever the highest is, yeah, down here, 145, there's a lot of open interest there as well. So those are things that we're going to be watching with both of these stocks. So, yeah. So that's just something to keep in mind for this week, just to be prepared for, you know, some things that the hedgies might pull on us in order to keep those from remaining and from going in the money. So, George W. on the AMC chart. Yes. There is a George W. on the AMC chart. And it's coming down a little bit. So we're going to see what happens here. I'm looking for a bounce on both of these. And this is on the 1 minute chart. Change it to like 5 minute chart. Still one there. Not as strong. Kind of went over and up. So yeah. Oops. Hold on. Hi Stuart. I got some AMC. Do you think it'll squeeze to 100? Yes, I do. Out of the two, I don't even want to sit here and say which one I think is better. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what I think. But at the end of the day, nobody really knows. AMC has a bigger float and more shares. But it's still possible that it could be, 20 times as shorted. We don't know. But what I do know is from January, the highest percentage of public short interest. This isn't even counting synthetic shares. This is just counting regular short interest, right? Like the public information all the way up to 347% short. So just based on that number, I feel like GameStop is probably shorted about maybe 10 times its float. At the very least, maybe 5 times the float. So that's the reason why I'm all in GameStop. So yeah. I do plan on taking, whenever I cash out my contracts, taking the gains from those and buying shares of both GameStop and AMC. I will be splitting between the two. I do have AMC shares. I just don't have a whole lot compared to my GameStop stake. My GameStop stake is a lot larger than my AMC stake at this point. I plan on growing them both even bigger, honestly. So, we're going to see what happens here with this price action. Right now, we're at $276.99 on GameStop and $57.79, I don't know, $56 on AMC. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, let's see if that holds. Or if this goes back up. That's a really interesting candle here. Oh no. I'm going to blow this up for a sec. They're both doing it, so it's interesting. The volume on that candle is 2.4 million. So it's not going to hold. Hope it comes and we hit a new double bottom or something so we can bounce. Well, we're going to see what happens. The volume on this one was 10 million. Or, I'm sorry, 10,000. 82,000 now. It's bouncing around. 82,000, yeah. So, we'll see. The volume on GameStop today is 4.5 million. The GameStop on AMC so far is 266 million. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Did you guys hear what I said about screenshotting your shares and making sure you have all of the information that you need? GME long, I feel AMC feels more risky. Yeah, I agree with that, and that's why I'm long on GameStop. Funny enough, I started out in AMC in the very, very beginning of all of this because it was cheaper and it's what I could afford. And then after I started playing around with contracts and stuff, I eventually came up with enough money and kept, playing in meme stocks and stuff too. I don't like calling them meme stocks. We're going to call them momentum stocks. High momentum stocks. So I was playing in a lot of high momentum plays and, gained a lot of money. So now I can have a bigger stake. Okay, so the screenshots. What I was saying about the screenshots is there was articles posted all weekend from all the different mainstream media outlets talking about a possible hacker attack to brokerages. And my thoughts on that were that I feel like that's basically them I don't think that hackers are going to attack brokerages. I think if something happens to your brokerage account, it's because of the hedge funds, because they stand to lose the most from your shares that you have, and the money that we're all making from it. So I feel like if there was any kind of quote unquote attack, it would simply, really honestly, be hedge funds and not a legitimate hacker. I think that they release those articles to preemptively, basically to tell us their plans before they actually do them. So I do think that it is a possibility that could happen. I just don't think it's going to be by hackers. I think they're going to blame hackers, but I don't think it's really going to be hackers. So what I would suggest at that point is to screenshot all of your accounts starting now, with your history of, your purchases, and also like your statements and all of that, just in case something were to happen. Then you have proof of the shares that you had, the price point you bought them at, and where you are as far as your account is concerned with that. I think that if that were to exist, I would hope that, I don't know, I just think that it's sounding like a way out to me for brokerages, because I know that a lot of brokerages are going to be holding the bags for this, and that's because of, the hedge funds are going through those brokerages naked shorting, and it is on the brokerage to locate those shares to borrow, and if there is a fail, then that would be on those brokerages. So definitely keep your own records of your account just in case something were to happen. Also, I would highly suggest turning on two-factor authentication for your Google account, all of your brokerage accounts, literally basically everything, so that if someone did find out your password, they also have to have your phone too, and it's hard to have both. So I would definitely look into doing both of those things just to protect yourself and your security. And we know, that these hedge funds and market makers are not above illegal activity to do what they need to do. If anybody missed the beginning of my stream, when this is over, maybe go back to the beginning, because I went over some news and things that I felt like were important going into today. Also, another thing, I don't know if anybody of my viewers are interested in this, but I did find, now this is definitely a Q like anon kind of thing, but I found this really interesting letter that I feel like pertains to us, but I don't know, it's like one of those conspiracy things. But the letter's dated from October 25th, 2020, and I found it really interesting because it mentioned Citadel, and it's kind of weird because it almost foretold the future. And so I found it interesting, and I don't know if it's, everything that we're doing is a part of, a bigger plan, and we're just, a piece to the puzzle, or what. But I would label it as a tinfoil hat kind of thing. But if anyone's interested in it, I can do a stream or a video or something on this letter because it is very interesting. I'm not going to lie to you. But it would definitely fall under a tinfoil hat. So maybe I'll just have a separate series. You know, we'll do like the live market coverage, and then maybe I'll do like a tinfoil hat series too. Just for, you know, fun speculation, and also to, I don't know, see if any of these claims have any validity. But this letter that I got was actually sent to me from a friend, and it was interesting. It involves BlackRock. It involves kind of like what that video we were watching the other day. I think it has a lot to do with that. But it also has a lot to do with the Great Reset and things like that. So you guys let me know if that's something you're interested in hearing. If so, then we can do a stream about it at some point. Maybe even today. Because I did find it really, really interesting. So yeah, you guys just let me know in the comments if that's something that you guys would be interested in or not. Either way is cool with me. So we're up $24.55 on GameStop, and we're up $8 on AMC today. 16% on the day on AMC and 9% on GameStop. It looks like we had a nice old climb down here. Oops. On both of these. It's always interesting to watch them put together. And from what I've realized from these trends of AMC and GameStop moving together, they typically move together most fluently when they're going down rather than when they're going up. So to me, that's really telling that the same people that are shorting or selling GameStop or AMC are the same individuals or the same program, which is more likely it's probably high frequency trading of some sort mixed with the shorts. So Jimmy Long, I feel AMC feels more risky. No, I missed what about the screenshots? Good idea. All info is good to know. Yeah, this is really interesting. It's a letter that was actually written to President Trump, which makes it even more interesting in my mind. But it's about the, you know, have you guys heard of the Great Reset? It's supposed to be a conspiracy theory, but literally, like, I don't know. Interesting, for sure. What do you guys think? And what's interesting about it is that Citadel was mentioned in this letter. It was mentioned like in a different way, but I found that super interesting that this letter basically kind of foretold what was going to happen, you know, and then also somehow knew about Citadel too. That was really interesting. It did say it in like a metaphorical way, but I don't know, it was interesting. So I don't know. We will read this later today, though, because I find it really interesting. I got to figure out a way to get it from my phone to my computer, because I just took a screenshot of it. It was interesting. But it definitely would be considered, I guess, a conspiracy theory. But yeah. So the volume on both of these has slowed down a bit. We're at 276 million at 2 o'clock. We were trading around 700 million. It's a little bit of a concern to me, because when volume slows down, that means that, you know, I don't know. It is a concern. So I'm just going to keep keeping an eye on the volumes on the day. in order to sustain higher numbers on AMC, we're going to have to get more volume in here. It's funny because before 276 million is a lot of volume, right? But like, because of the way it's been trading, it's not. And I think maybe that was their plan, was to try to get a bunch of, volume in there so that when real, buying pressure comes in, it kind of limits how high the stock will go. Which would make sense. If I was someone who was short on the stock, I would probably do that. So yeah. Let's zoom out on these charts real quick and move to the 5-minute and see what we're looking at here. Yeah. Yeah, we had a big old shorted it the way down, or it could be just day traders getting out and getting back in, hoping, since it didn't reach down here, we found higher lows. Well, yeah, it's higher lows. It's very close, but they are higher. So we found higher lows, so hopefully this next shot up is going to pass our high and we'll create a new all-time high. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with everything. So we can just watch this action here for a bit if you want. If not, then I will just get off of here and continue to watch it and come on if anything interesting starts to happen. I would highly suggest at this point not to have contracts in either of these stocks right now until the volume starts to pick up and it starts to go up. I mean, obviously it's up to you. I personally am waiting. I have one more contract to get out of. It's negative a little bit right now, and I want it to go positive before I get out of it. The moment it goes positive, I think I'm going to go out of it for now until these stocks start to take off, because at this point what's happening with all this back and forth movement is the contracts are getting burned. So that's obviously the hedge fund's intention, since they wrote a lot of naked contracts. They're going to want a lot of sideways and back and forth movement to burn up the value of those contracts of the people who are buying them. So that's another thing to think about and to be aware of, and to, make your own decision when it comes to that. I have a different strategy than a lot of people. I only buy contracts when I know I'm about to bank on them. Like, for example, if AMC started shooting up crazy right now, I'd go and buy a contract to catch, the wave up, and then I'd sell it, whenever I believe that the wave is about to be over, which is what I did last time, except for I expected another wave. I just didn't think that they were going to go straight back and forth right away. I thought we were going to have, that dip down and then we were going to fly back up. So since that didn't happen, now, contracts are just losing money based on this back and forth movement. So that's just something to be aware of if you do have contracts, to make a decision on those and to determine, if you want to hold or lose, some of your profits. It's really up to you. I think it depends really on when you got in, what price you got in, and things like that. I personally was day trading the contracts, so because of that, that was my cue to get out. So yeah, so that's up to you guys. I think that I will probably do a video or maybe even a live stream on that open letter to Donald Trump. I think that it's really interesting. Especially because being in this, I guess I didn't realize that there was other, I don't know. I didn't realize it all kind of tied together, and I think that it does. And I think that we are all part of a bigger picture that I don't think everybody really realized that they were a part of, because I definitely didn't. And I have to say, I don't, reading the things in these subs, I don't agree with probably 90% of the things that are said, so it's interesting. And I'm not talking about like superstonk or wallstreetbets or anything like that. I'm talking about like these, I don't know, I'll explain it in that video, whenever we go over this letter, like where it came from and the belief system of those organizations and whatnot. But yeah, we could talk about that later. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know, and also tune in for that. So I think I'm gonna get off of here right now. We're at $273.86 on GameStop and $56 on AMC. And it's 2:12 in the afternoon on June 7th, 2021. And our things to watch are the $60 and $50 on AMC. They both have in the options chain a lot of open interest. So those are numbers that the hedgies are not going to want the stock to be above. They're not going to want AMC above $50 or $60. And they're not going to want GameStop above $300. So those are our moves that we're going to be watching for the week. They're going to shove GameStop below 300, make sure it never goes above it. And I think that they're going to try to either shove AMC below 60 or below 50. Because that's what's in their best interest. And if those shares are not already hedged for, that's going to cause a lot of buying pressure. That they're going to have to go in and buy at market value, which is 55.80 something, and that's going to be a pretty large hit on whoever wrote those contracts naked. So that is why that's interesting as well. For sure, I will be back for the open letter. All right, that sounds good, Stuart. I think we're going to probably do it tonight. It's hard for me to get on here during the day because I have a kid and I have to like get her situated and stuff before I can go live. Otherwise, she's just going to keep interrupting us. So, I will come back a little later. I'm not sure of the time, but just look out for notifications for me. Turn on your notification bell so you guys know when I'm live. And make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you guys here probably later tonight. So just hold the faith. The best thing to do for these two stocks is to hold shares over contracts. For this very reason, this back and forth. This back and forth is literally just to burn up the value of contracts, burn up your profits, which is why I never suggest, like, whenever, like, that's why this whole movement is based on shares and not contracts, because yes, contracts can help. They can, do a gamma squeeze. But, like, if you're looking for, like, the long term in this, shares is the way to go. Because, as we know, these squeezes take times and different things can affect the stock. So, for example, like AMC's momentum slowed down when, all those shares were issued. That kind of stopped it from being able to spiral into new strikes for a gamma. So now at this point we need a new catalyst, and I'm hoping that the new catalyst will be coming up. I'm hoping GameStop will probably be the catalyst for AMC since they have the most news. On June 9th is the June 9th is the shareholder call and earnings, and also the annual meeting. So I'm expecting there to be news on that day. However, we don't know if it's going to be good or bad. Earnings could make the stock go down. If GameStop goes down, AMC also goes down. If AMC goes down, GameStop goes down. So that's just something that we all need to be aware of. And that's why fight 8. Because if one of these stocks fails, so does the other one. There is no success unless we go all together. We have to go together. Now, my other thing is The hedge funds are playing AMC long. I don't know if everyone's aware of that, but they definitely should be. They are playing AMC long. So that's also something to be aware of, is when we're making money, so are they. So when the stock goes down, it's because they sold their long position for a profit, and now they want to get back in to ride it back up with y'all. I'm sure they're probably doing the same thing to GameStop. At least it would be smart of them to do it. I really hope they're smart enough to do it, because that's what I would be doing. Is I was short, I would be trying to ride it up to gain as much money as I can, and then probably like short it back down. So I think that that's the game that they're playing. They're playing both sides. Any way basically they can make money is what they're going to do. So make sure, you just keep that in mind, and remember, that they do have a lot of money, but their money is not infinite. You know what is infinite? A short position. A short position has infinite losses. So just keep that in mind. The more we pressure them, the more the prices of the stock goes up. What's great about it is this is all organic. You know what I mean? It's not like, we're in the middle of a squeeze right now. We're not. This is all just organic buying right now. This is literally the stock price that people are buying at. That's it. The squeeze has not started yet. So we literally have nothing to worry about at all. I mean, it's possible they could try to push the price down. I just don't think that they have enough power to push it down that far. Like, GameStop, definitely, there's zero possibility it'll go to $40. I would say that there's probably maybe like a 5% chance. No, not even that much. I think there's like a 3% chance it could go to $100. And I think there's maybe like a 48% chance it could go to $150. Not all at once, but like over time. And there's probably like a higher chance that it'll go to like $240, around like the $240 level, because they're going to want to try to push it below $250. So we're going to see what happens. And then AMC, basically the same thing. So yeah, just based on the numbers of, where we're at and how long it would take them to push it down, and also if those shares are available, even to short. The other thing they could do is, like I said, buy up shares and then try to sell them on low volume so that they could push the price down, which is what they did to GameStop for months. So those are all just little tricks that hedge funds will pull that, you should be aware of and keep in the back of your mind. And if you're holding shares, it really doesn't matter. If you're holding contracts, I guess that's when it would matter. Because with shares, they come back up, and you know what I mean, and you make your same profit no matter what. With contracts, that's not how that works. So we'll see what happens. And guys, if you notice, when we're on down pressure, the volume starts flying. But when we're on buying pressure, it's super slow. So that's something interesting. That means that they're shorting or selling more than they're buying. Like, they're trying to buy slowly in order to barely move the price up, but they're selling really quick and fast, and all at the same time to shove the price down. So just keep that all in mind. Anyway, so I think that that's it for now and for the day. We're going to end this now at 271.96 on GameStop. The high is 282 for the day. And for AMC, 54.85, and the high is 59.67. So just keep watching those factors that we talked about. Make sure you screenshot your account and keep your own records, just in case any fuckery occurs. And also, make sure you spread the word about naked shorts in both of these stocks, because that is so important. And it's important that everybody understands what that means, and also like the implications of that, and how it affects the broader market, and how it affects everyday Americans and the working class. So I think that those are all really important things to consider and to educate people on. But anyway, so that's what we're looking at for the day. I will be back to talk about this letter later on today. So I will see you guys later.